Hello everybody and welcome to my video about memory and deja vu. What is memory? You know how every once in a while you'll get a whiff of some smell or hear a really familiar song and it brings you back to a time you had a really good cookie or a really fun dance party with your friends? These are memories, knowledge that is stored in the brain and is often associated with stimuli that involve the five senses or an emotional response. There are lots of places in your brain responsible for the formation and storage of the memory. However, it is highly associated with the limbic system. There are two main types of memory: explicit or declarative memory and implicit or non-declarative memory. Explicit memories are things that have happened to you in your life that you remember, or things that you learn in school, like vocabulary or math problem. Implicit memory, on the other hand, involves habit formation, movements, and what people would call muscle memory, remembering the move to a dance or how you can walk around your room with your eyes closed. The words hippocampus, amygdala, and medial temporal lobe are three parts of your brain that are associated with learning. The hippocampus is associated with explicit and long-term memory. The amygdala is involved with your brain's emotional responses, and the medial temporal lobe is one of the general areas of the brain where memories are formed and processed. How are memories formed? Your brain is made up of cells called neurons. The thin yellow and orange drawing is a model of a neuron. When you are making a memory, your feelings and experiences are converted into electrical pulses and zip across neuron pathways. The hippocampus, which is the seahorse-looking part of your brain pictured here, is very involved with storing and processing long-term memories. For example, one famous patient had most of his hippocampus removed and couldn't remember anything for longer than 30 seconds. Most memories are stored in neurons. The more that the neurons communicate with each other at the synapse, their ends, with each other, the stronger those pathways become, and therefore your memory grows too. That is why your memory can become stronger with practice. Some brain and memory boosting activities include playing a card game, puzzles, crosswords, learning how to play music, even if it's just strumming on a pot or a pan, doing some mental math, or testing your recall. We are about to do some of that. Please take a look at the list of words and try to remember them as well as you can. Ready? Set. Go! Now we are moving on to the second part of the video, Dèjá Vu. Dèjá vu, which means already seen in French, is an occurrence where you do something for the first time, but you recall and could swear that you've done it before. It is most common among kids ages 6 to 10 and becomes less common with age. Scientists don't really know what causes it. It's crazy. There are about 40 major theories about the occurrence is and why it happens. Many of the scientists agree, though, that it has something to do with your medial temporal lobe, though. That is the part of the brain that I highlighted yellow. It's inside there. I thought I would feature a few of my favorite theories with you guys. Scientists are working really hard to figure out what deja vu is because not only is it a really cool phenomenon, but it could also help with the treatment of some people who have epilepsy. The external stimulus theory is an idea that something around you, something you see or really familiar smell of flowers or the recollection of a pattern that you associate with a memory brings up the feeling of deja vu. The divided attention theory hypothesizes that you've actually had an experience before, but you weren't paying enough attention to remember. So, like this guy, if I were walking down a street but looking at my phone or a clock or a wrench, I might get a really strong feeling of deja vu the next time I cross the street. Because even though I don't remember crossing it because my mind was elsewhere, the memory was stored and will trigger that response. The hologram theory states that your memories are stored as holograms, and if a portion of your memory is recollected by something you see or feel, you will experience a fragment of a memory, or a cut hologram. The dual processing theory suggests that new stimuli are processed twice, so that the brain mistakes it as something familiar as a fluke. Personally, I think all of these ideas are really reasonable and fascinating. It just goes how much to show what can be learned when you guys go on to be neuroscientists. Before I end off the video, I wanted to see your recollection of the list of words I showed earlier. Do you remember which words were on the list? Is there a word missing? Which words did you remember best?